Good evening. We are going to wait about 30 more seconds to let a few more participants in, and then we will get started with the Rising Ninth Grade Parent Night for Gainesville High School. All right, welcome again. My name is Megan Pomfret. I'm the lead counselor at Gainesville High School. My email is on the screen if you want to jot that down. It's also on the Gainesville website. Hold on one second. So tonight, our agenda, we're going to go over some upcoming events. We're going to review briefly our Pathways to Global Citizenship program, talk about academic advising for our rising ninth graders, and then Mr. Eldridge is going to talk to us about student activities and athletics. We ask that if you have questions, you can post them in the Q&A feature, and we will answer them as quickly as we can. First, I would like to give Mr. Beach, our school principal, a chance to speak.
Again, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is the first of what will be a series of webinars or attempts to get the right information into the hands of our students and their families in the coming months, obviously focusing on the school counseling side of things as we migrate into student course selection. That being said, we've got close to 300 participants this evening and several more registrants who are, I think, still joining the room. There's the most current aerial photo of the school. As you can see, the roof line and most of the brickwork's finished, and there's been a lot of groundwork done surrounding the school. So the construction process is coming along rapidly, nicely. Besides that, the team here has been working hard to continue through various aspects of the procurement process for furniture and athletic equipment. We're about to purchase a bulk of band instruments and other musical instruments for the performing arts program. And then we're spending a lot of time during our business days screening applicants to work in the school. We've hired close to 40 staff and faculty so far. We will anticipate hiring in the region of 120, so we're about a third of the way there, but that's keeping us busy at the minute. That being said, that's enough from me. I'm going to hand you back over to Mrs. Pomfret, who's going to talk a little bit more about the student advisement process.
Thank you, Mr. Beach. All right. Okay, so yesterday an invitation was sent to all rising ninth graders who will be projected to be coming to Gainesville next year. So I've seen quite a few students have accepted the Counseling Canvas page invitation. If you're not sure if your rising ninth grader has accepted it or not, please encourage them to do so. A lot of the information that I'm going to be covering tonight is going to be on that Canvas page, and I'll be using that page and updating it as we have more resources. So again, please encourage your child. And if you haven't received an invitation, you can reach out to me and I can figure out what's going on and add your child. But this will be an important page for information and for communication. So for some upcoming events, if your child is zoned for Gainesville, you do not have to worry about the specialty program application. But if your child is not zoned for Gainesville and you're interested in attending, the specialty program application is due on February 1st. That application can be found on our website, or if you search specialty program application on Prince William County's website, it's there too. Starting in mid-February, I will begin working with rising ninth graders for academic advising. I have some tentative dates up there that I will be meeting with our various feeder middle schools. There are a lot of students, and there's myself and another individual who'll be helping me to get academic advising done. So I will be working my hardest and fastest to get through as many students as I can in those days, but there will be multiple makeup days until the end of March. So again, the dates that I have right now for the middle schools are tentative. There's, again, the schedule is changing with the return to learn. These are the dates that we have on the books right now, but they may change. I will update those dates as I can in Canvas. And if I don't see your child on those days, please know that I will be doing makeup days until the end of March. After your child is met with for academic advising, when they pick their classes, the last day that they can make changes is June 4th. And I'll talk about that process in a moment. In August, we are hoping to do our new student orientation and to have events where we can have new students coming into the building. There's a lot of factors that go into when those events will happen, including health metrics and things like that. But as soon as we can get people into the building, when the building is ready, I promise you that we will, and we will communicate that to you guys as we can. The first day of school, if you guys want to mark your calendars, is August 23rd. It's funny to think that we're talking about that now, but go ahead and get that on your calendar. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start with just a brief overview of the Pathways to Global Citizenship. We've had a handful of webinars on this program. Essentially, Gainesville is, as every student in Gainesville will be in a specialty pathway. We have 5 houses and multiple pathways in each house, and each rising 9th grader will choose a pathway. Those pathways are courses that are connected by themes. So for example, we have a biomedical science, we have a writing and communication, a world languages and culture, lots of different kinds of themes that have global significance. I'll have in a moment a slide that lists all of the pathways for you. The purpose of this is to create connections and a depth of study for students. We want them connecting with students that share interests and teachers that share the same interests. There will be focused career and college explorations throughout their high school experience attached to those pathways. Students will take 4 or 6 courses in their pathways. Some have more if they're attached to core class requirements, like our history and political science and mathematics. Pathways have a little bit more and require some AP courses. But for the most part, it's typically 4 courses. And students will have the opportunity to complete it. We call it an extended learning experience, capstone assessment, excuse me. And this is optional for students to do to receive a Pathways of Distinction upon their graduation. And this can look lots of different ways. It can be an internship, it can be a recital, it can be a research project. It can look lots of different ways according to their pathway and the student's interest. And there is, excuse me, attached to that 40 hours of service or leadership opportunities. I often get the question if students can change their pathway through high school. They can. We're not going to change it mid-year and change courses, but we want to ensure that students are having good, meaningful conversations with their counselors and their teacher advisors, and you as their parent or guardian to have these meaningful conversations so that we can see trajectories along the way to track their interests. So these are our 5 houses and the pathways that are included. If your student is zoned for Gainesville, they can be a part of any of these pathways. If your child is trying to transfer to Gainesville, the pathways that have little asterisks next to them are the transferable pathways. So those are the 3 that students can come to us on. And if they are transfer students, if they come to Gainesville as transfer students, we need to make sure that they are taking courses that will keep them on that transferable pathway. So some students may want to double up as long as they're meeting their graduation requirements and also meeting their pathway requirements with fidelity, and they're not overloading themselves. That could be a possibility, but it's important that they're meeting their transferable requirements. As you have rising 9th graders getting ready to start high school, it's important to know that there are 2 diploma types in the state of Virginia. One is not better than the other. They're just a little bit different. So the advanced diploma does have more credit requirements. So every time a student takes and passes a class, they earn a high school credit. They earn, a high school class, they earn a high school credit. So some of you may have children that are taking high school math or world language in middle school, and those will transfer to Gainesville. And if some of you aren't, that's okay. They will have ample time to meet their graduation requirements while they're at Gainesville High School. Again, one is not better than the other. They're just different. The advanced studies does set students up a little bit better for working towards college admissions because it requires 4 years of the core subject and the world language. But you can go to college on the advanced and the standard. I think it's important that we're following the student's pathway interest and kind of their long-term goals after high school, their post-secondary. So the standard diploma may be what's best for your student. When your child meets with a Gainesville counseling representative, they will be picking 7 classes as well as 2 alternative electives. So their core subject classes will be their English, social studies, science, and math. They will take PE because they are required to take 2 years of PE in high school regardless of diploma type. And then they will pick 2 electives, one which may be a world language and then another elective. The pathway that they are interested in will be chosen with the counselor with whom they meet, and it may impact their elective choice. In a moment, I'm going to show you the pathways broken down with the electives that are associated with that. Please, you'll notice on here that the advanced label is replacing pre-AP in Prince William County starting next school year. So it's the same course, it is weighted the same. It's just called advanced this year. So this is a change from previous years. So if you've had a student that's gone through high school before, instead of using pre-AP, Prince William County, and this is standard across the county, we'll be using advanced instead of pre-AP. All right, so for our pathways, and I'm not going to read all of them for you here, this presentation will be posted, and I can even post this slide in our Canvas page if this would be helpful for families. For the pathways, there are certain electives that are associated with each pathway. So for example, if your child is interested in the criminal justice pathway, the 9th grade elective that they would choose would be the Project Lead the Way Principles of Biomedical Science. Their other elective could be world language if they're on the advanced studies diploma track. Some, you will notice, have requirements in the core subject area. So for example, the mathematics pathway has students need to have had algebra 1 in the 8th grade, and they will need to be taking advanced geometry in the 9th grade. And again, this information, I'll ensure that this is on the Canvas page so that you or your child can refer back to this. This is also already on our course request form, which is posted in Canvas, but also on the counseling webpage. This is the course request form is broken down with the electives done by Pathways as well. All right, so whether or not to take advanced courses. Again, as I mentioned before, the advanced label is replacing pre-AP starting next school year. If your child is doing online course requests through Student View, and this won't be applicable to rising 9th graders, but if you have students that are rising 10th or 11th and they're doing their course requests in Student View before they meet with their counselor, it might still say pre-AP, but starting in July, advanced will be the only label that will be used. Advanced courses do offer students a chance for challenge. I would encourage you to focus on your students' interest and connection to pathway as you're considering the advanced courses to take. Some students can thrive in taking advanced across the board. I would caution you that that's not necessarily necessary. We don't want your child in October to be completely overwhelmed and to be shutting down because there's just too much work and not enough time. We want to challenge your kid. We want to see them push themselves. But my favorite quote is, I want to see you push yourself, just not off a cliff. So consider their interest and their connection to their pathway when you're considering how many to take. In advanced courses, students do have the opportunity to earn weighted grades in their GPA. as long as they earn a C or above. And if you want to see the full list of courses that are weighted, it is available in the Prince William County course catalog, which is this school year. It's available online. They have a nice setup. You can check out and see which courses are listed there. In any advanced class that your child takes, you can anticipate more independent work, increased rigor and effort. I encourage you to consider the amount of time that your child has in a day. If they do multiple sports and they intend to do lots of activities after school, there might not be time to have 4 advanced classes, 5 advanced classes. It might just be 2 as you're focusing on your child's interest and the connection to their pathway. That might be the best balance, because we don't want kids being overwhelmed and feeling like they aren't able to handle the coursework, because once the school year starts, making changes to the schedule can be very, very difficult, if not possible. Sometimes we your child to ensure that they're successful and that they're placed appropriately. But please don't assume that, gosh, I've changed my mind, I'm going to make changes as the school year goes. Please don't assume that will happen, because that's not necessarily something that we're able to do. Teacher recommendations, that's also helpful. Rising 9th grade, so your child's 8th grade teachers will be doing recommendations soon as to the courses that they could be taking, and those can go into your decision making as to whether or not an advanced course would be appropriate for your child. Besides the 7 core classes that your child will take, they will also choose 2 alternative electives. And this is super important. And the counselor that's working with your child is going to insist upon having 2 alternative electives. Student interest determines the courses that we'll run. If we don't have enough interest in a course, even if we're offering it and it's on our course request form, that does not guarantee that we're going to be able to run it next school year. If we have 2 kids signed up for a class that budgetarily and staffing wise doesn't make sense. So the alternatives, make sure that your child picks classes that they would be satisfied in taking. Because sometimes we do have to close or cancel classes depending on numbers and budgeting issues. And I'm going to pause and mute myself for a moment and let Mr. Treadwell introduce himself.
Good evening. My name is John Treadwell, and I'm going to be the Special Education Department Chair at Gainesville High School. For our parents that have special education students that will be transitioning next year, I wanted to let you know that we're going to really strive very hard to build an inclusive and welcoming environment for all of our students. We've begun to make contact with our middle school feeder schools to ensure that we're involved in the transition meetings to discuss the course requests and to review the IEP goals and accommodations and services to make sure that your child is ready to start in the fall. We're going to strive to provide high quality instruction using research-based practices in the least restrictive environment. Once we meet, we will have a chance to talk about your student individually at the IEP meeting. And before the first day of school, your child's case manager will reach out to you to make sure that you have a contact person. My email is listed here. I encourage you, if you have any questions regarding special education at Gainesville High School, to send me an email and I will make sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
For our students that are English learners, we have similar goals in terms of working to increase their proficiency while being successful and at mastering grade level academic content. We are also going to be working with feeder schools to ensure proper placement, and English learner case managers will be contacting families to collaborate before school starts. And Ms. Kirkendall's information is on here. If you would like, unfortunately, she wasn't able to be with us this evening, but her contact information is up there as well. All right, so our academic advising process, and this information is pulled directly from the Canvas page. So again, you can have your child log on and take a look at it. Or if you're an observer on their Canvas account, you can access this as well. So before academic advising, so before mid-February, we ask that you review the pathways and choices that you feel would be a good fit for your child. The 9th grade course request form, there's a sample draft that's posted in Canvas. You all can take a look at that and complete that just for practice, but also to have with your child for the dates that I'm going to be visiting their middle school so that they have their choices in front of them. Find electives that match their pathway choice, and really as a family, and if contacting their teachers to see what would be a good fit for them, that would be fantastic. In the Counseling Canvas page, there is a link to a 9th grade interest survey. This is not required. This is not mandatory, but this is just a way for us to get an idea about the courses that your child might be interested in. And it can be helpful for us to know in advance before we meet with your child what kind of courses they're thinking about taking. And I checked today, I've actually had a few kids that have already done it. So again, it's not a requirement, but if they want to go ahead and get in there and do it, that would be fantastic. I strongly encourage you to have a parent view account if you don't have one already. If you do not have a parent view account, you will need to contact your child's school now or their current school to help set that up. Once we meet with your child, you'll be able to see their course request live in parent and student view under the course request button. So this will be an important way for you to verify the courses that your child has chosen for 9th grade. So in that parent view account has lots of benefits for checking grades and attendance. So if you don't have that account yet, please make sure that you do. All right. During academic advising, a Gainesville High School representative will be meeting with your child. During the day, it's myself and another school counselor who's assisting me. We will be meeting in Zooms. Your middle schools are going to be helping us to set up. We'll be hopping into their classes to meet with your child. It'd be great if they can have that practice course request form completed so that they know the courses that they're interested in. As we mentioned before, if your child receives special education or English learner services, we've already reached out to the schools to get input on the services that they require. And you will have an opportunity to review those choices before the end of the school year. So if they meet with the counselor and you feel like, a service wasn't addressed, that's okay. It will be reviewed by Mr. Treadwell and Ms. Kirkendall, and we will be collaborating with the feeder schools to make sure we get everyone in the right spots. If I miss your child on the day that I am at the middle school, please, I promise you, I will meet with them as soon as I can. I will have multiple makeup days. A lot of them will be after school. Someone will be reaching out to your family to schedule that. But just know I will see them. I want to see them as well. I won't leave them hanging. Just be patient. After we meet with your child, it's important that you check parent and student view to ensure the accuracy of your child's requests. There is a link in Canvas if you need to make changes to course requests. It's a Google form. You'll just go in. Again, it's on the Canvas page under Rising 9th Grade Academic Advising. You click on that, and there's a section that says, after I meet with the school counselor, you click on that, and then there's a link to the change request form. The deadline for changes is June 4th. So write that down. Remember that, please, June 4th. Prince William County typically releases student schedules, high school schedules, about a week before school starts in student view. So you can anticipate seeing your child's schedule the week before school starts. It might not have teachers' names, but it will have the listed. Okay, so just a review of the timeline. If your child can complete that interest survey by February 12th, that would be fantastic. It is not required, but it is helpful. In mid-February, I'll start working with the local middle school, our feeder middle schools through Zoom, working with your child. Hopefully these dates, they are tentative. They change a little bit, just that may happen. And then you can check the accuracy of the course request in parent and student view. The last day that we'll accept changes is June 4th. And if you have any grades that your child took in middle school that you are interested in being expunged or removed from their high school transcript. So let's say your 8th grader is taking Spanish 1 and they don't do so well. Maybe they get a grade that you wish that they want to start Spanish 1 over again in high school, or they want to shift to a different language. You can have that grade expunged or removed from their high school transcript. You can do that up until the end of their 9th grade year. And you can contact the counseling center at Gainesville, or you can, I believe the middle schools will have access to that form, but you can come to me first. Don't go to the middle schools because it might not be until over the summer that you see those grades. So we can provide that form for you so that you can have the high school credit earned in middle school. Once high school starts, we don't expunge grades that they earn in high school, but until the end of 9th grade, 8th grade grades can be expunged. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Eldridge, our Director of Student Activities.
Good evening, everyone. Want to thank everybody for joining us. Seeing 300 people here interested in joining the community is pretty exciting for me. My name is Jason Eldridge. I'm the Director of Student Activities. I'm going to answer a question that just came up. Tryouts, freshmen, yes, we want everybody involved in activities. That's my mission here at this school. That's all of our mission. We want every kid that comes through our halls to really feel a part of the school and its community and have an affiliation as such, not only in the classroom, but hopefully in something they're passionate about outside the classroom. We're going to be offering a full program load of athletic and fine arts activities every season from fall to winter and into spring. We have already hired a number of our fall program coaches, and we hope to finish that process up here in the next couple of weeks. We've already named golf, volleyball. We're in the process of field hockey, cheerleading, and football. We've also hired a dance coach as well. We'll be hiring winter and spring coaches for those programs in the coming months, February and March. Football is the only program that will start JV competition level. All other programs will have a varsity level competition and the subsequent sub-level JV and freshman. We've also hired in the Fine Arts Department a band director and a number of musical teachers to align with that. We're in the midst of the process of hiring a theater director, and we will also be offering full program load. As far as our activities and clubs are concerned, those are going to build over time. Some of the priorities, obviously student leadership is a big priority. I'd like to get an organization that really speaks to the multicultural facet of our student body. So some kind of international culture organization. And then as kids have interest in things and sponsors are willing to jump on board, we are going to expand those. One of the big things that we have academically in one of our houses is a gaming curriculum, and I'd love to get a gaming program off the ground for competition in the VHSL as soon as possible. So we're really excited about everything that's going on from the facility standpoint. And I think there's another slide here on the next one over. Again, yes. So what you're looking at here is basically the bright and shiny thing you'll see walking into the training center or weight room, as some of you may refer to it. We've really developed things for all students. This training center is going to be not just for the athletes to come in and promote their programs and their proficiencies in whatever their craft is, but it's also for the adults and the kids that just want to live a healthier lifestyle. So this is the shiny centerpiece to that. Most of our facilities are about 80 to 85% done. The turf fields are in place and ready to go. They have not put the track down yet. Track can't come until the weather gets a little warmer. Indoors, we're still finalizing the floor for the gym, but most of the infrastructure is up. We're looking to upgrade a few things to make it more student friendly and hope that squeezes into the curriculum for our physical education department. If anybody has any questions about anything as far as tryouts, when programs will get started running, when to expect communication, please reach out to me on my email. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, but excited to have everybody, and go Cards.
All right, thank you, Mr. Eldridge. Right, and that here we have our contact information if you want to connect with Gainesville High School. Our webpage is going to house our it's going to be the main point of contact for you for looking for information. We are also accessible on Twitter. We have a Facebook page now, and we have some webinars that have, and I'm going to hopefully get this webinar up soon, up on our YouTube as well. And we also have the Gainesville Counseling Canvas page. So lots of ways for you to connect, with the web page really being the centerpiece for you to visit there for information. That concludes the information piece of our webinar tonight. We're so thankful for your time and your participation. We're going to leave information up, and we've got a handful of questions, it looks like, in the Q&A. So if you would like to submit questions in there, we will take some time to answer them. And again, thank you so much. We are grateful for you guys being here.